Hi, my dear Astro family. I'm going to start a new series and I'm going to do this on a weekly basis. I will be picking the aspect of the week. So I will try to pick the most important aspect of the week ahead and I will give you a detailed analysis of that. If you would like to hear more about the aspects all week, then join my YouTube membership. And then you can even get webinars for the price of the membership, one or two, depending on which level you choose. So this week I picked the Sun square Neptune. First of all, this is a week when we are meant to be walking a little bit more on the spiritual journey. Obviously, Sun represents the need to develop our identity, the strength to be visible, but the sun dissolves that. So obviously, when you start looking at the sun and Neptune, sun rules Leo, Neptune rules Pisces. So they naturally have got a quincunx, a 150-degree aspect going on between them too. This is a minor aspect, right? And the keywords for quincunx is about challenge. Something needs adjustment. Something needs to be diverted in a way. And often either we overdo things or holding back things with a quincunx. Typically, it's a psychological problem. Often, quincunxes represent childhood traumas. So maybe the Sun square Neptune, we have to be facing some of our childhood traumas. Obviously, the Sun is in the sign of Sagittarius on 24 degree, and Neptune is on 24 degree of Pisces. So something can come up from the subconscious. Something can become more visible for us. Also interesting that quincunxes are 12 harmonic aspects because if you divide 360 and you divide it by 12, then basically you get number and then you multiply it by 5. Basically, we're talking about the quintile. So often the quincunxes include an element of creativity as well. Right, so we need a creative solution to any of the problems, pretty much. So I would call this aspect this week that something we need to let go with Neptune. We need to put our ego aside, for example, and we need to be finding a solution to a potential problem that has been created in our mind. And that would be something to do with the mutable energies. Sun is the self, and Neptune, to a certain extent, is the collective power. So often the belief system is that I can only do certain type of things if I give up on something. Or I can do that if I identify myself with the collective. But then if you are part of the collective, that you are not special anymore, you feel like you have to sacrifice something when it comes to, for example, attending a party, right? Sun represents party, especially in the sign of Sagittarius, because it's an element of adventure. And what do you need to sacrifice here? What do you need to give up? Often the fear around Sun and Neptune is that I'm just going to get forgotten. Imagine that you are organizing a Christmas party, for example, and someone else is organizing a Christmas party as well at the same time. And everyone accepts the invitation of the other person and not yours. So then you somehow feel left out, somehow you feel uninvited, not wanted, and so forth. And then you want to be escaping from any of your mundane responsibilities. You want to be somehow disappearing. There's an element of a rejection going on there, an element of a self-pity. All these archetypical meanings belongs to the Sun square Neptune. Also, this could talk to us about spiritual materialism, which is all about a temporary state of mind that is kind of like trying to find a refugee from any of the sufferings, for example. So Sun square Neptune could invite you to do certain type of meditation. It's an invitation to find peace within yourself just by being alone as well. Of course, Sun is in the sign of Sagittarius, so we want to be part of a gang in a way. We want to be having adventure. We want to be sharing some type of fun stories with others, but you might feel that they are not necessarily receptive. A square is always an invitation to do something. So it's an invitation to approach things from a spiritual angle. It is actually an invitation to look at your spiritual or religious belief system. Are those making you suffer, or are they actually helping you somehow to find fulfillment? Think about the sun, it's a circle and there is a dot in the middle. So it means that basically we become whole. So there is an invitation here, if you want to become whole, to go down the spiritual road. Sun is in the sign of Sagittarius. Often it invites you to connect with a guru, a teacher, someone you might trust. Neptune and Sun, it weakens our vitality. It weakens of who we are. So we get confused about our future. We do not know where we are heading, for example. There is a sense of loss of who we are with this. Often, Neptune represents some type of attachment, I mean, such as being attached to drugs or these type of stuff, right? So maybe what happens here is that you are identifying yourself with alcohol, for example, or drugs, or certain type of element of obsessions. So this aspect is inviting you to change your belief systems about, do I need drugs? Do I need alcohol? And so forth. Often with Neptune, we are yearning for something. So we are yearning for a inner peace, for example, in our mind, but we might be yearning to be saved. We are yearning to travel somewhere, for example, with Sun in Sagittarius, or we are yearning to learn something. Neptune is also the planet of guilt, by the way. Neptune signifies your ideas, the highest level of consciousness. This is the planet of infinitive love. It's about selflessness, willingness to give up something for the greater good. So, are you trying to give up something, a piece of yourself, just to make someone else happy? Maybe the question is that, are you allowed to have fun, Sun in Sagittarius? Or do you have to be attending other people's needs? Am I meant to be just relieving other people's pain all the time? Or am I entitled to take care of my own needs as well? This could be a question here too. Or do I answer gods, or do I follow the path? You can actually start questioning your spiritual or your own religious belief systems as well. So there is an element of a guilt involved with Sun and Neptune. The guilt, it could be about crying. We might have got some sleepless nights, for example, or we just get preoccupied with our past mistakes, or we feel kind of like anxiousness in our stomach. Obviously, that comes from the element of fear somehow within us, right? There are different types of guilts, so let's not go into that. But also, this could talk to you about forgiving yourself or forgetting some of your past mistakes, because the sun in the sign of Sagittarius wants you to look forward of what's coming. Obviously, sun in Sagittarius shoots the arrow. Neptune is kind of like a little bit of a kind of like when you are aiming, Sagittarius is aiming, and Neptune is kind of like misdirecting that arrow. So it might not be landing where you want it to be landing. This is typically the aspect who takes an antidepressant tablet, for example. We could feel that my needs are not important, or it could indicate that I have to be playing the role of the martyr, and then we just feel like we cry. We feel somehow betrayed with this aspect as well. Or often what happens is that I feel guilty that others are not doing as well as I do, you know. So with the sun wants validation. And unfortunately with Neptune, that validation somehow disappear. So there is the devaluation of that. Often we just feel that, you know what, I am not in the mood today. I'm useless. I'm nothing. So you can really talk down on yourself. So just be careful about this. It could also indicate that Sun in Sagittarius wants to study, wants to travel, and then with Neptune, we forget something, such as you forget your passport at home. That could happen easily. Or you just cannot concentrate, for example, on on something. Remember that the sun is ego, and we've got, I think, 11 types of ego defense mechanism. So often with Neptune, we use those ego defense mechanisms. So I'm just going to give you one example out of the 11, and that would be the sublimation. And the description of that is that replacing socially unacceptable impulses with socially acceptable behavior. So, an example is that channeling aggressive drives into playing football or inappropriate sexual desires into art. So, to give an example, uh, imagine that you have got a desire for revenge on the drunk driver who killed his son. So is channeled into a community support group for people who have lost loved ones to drunk driving. And then you somehow do that for others. So this would be the aspect of the week for me. I hope you like it. And then if you do, please press like. And then if you wish to hear more about the weekly energies, then subscribe to my membership on YouTube. Thank you, everyone. See you. Bye-bye.